Welcome, people. It is I, Curbs136, with patch 7.41D that's just released about 5 to 7 minutes ago. I said to send an email so I could get right on immediately, but here we are. So, new Quadros Curio. I don't really care, but some people do. There you go. So, mechanics. Dire Fountain. That is the top of the map, top right. The Rejuvenation Aura, which is the aura in which you get healing from the fountain, has been slightly increased because it does feel small. I'll be honest with you, it feels small, and so I think it was just a fix with the terrain to make sure you were getting that regen sooner when running back in the fountain. It's nice. Self-cast on Town Portal Scroll, which is to use Town Portal Scroll with a double tap if you do not have Quick Cast enabled, because Quick Cast, I believe, stops that anyway. It depends on, there's a certain threshold for when it can activate, but that's not the point. If you do that, you double click it, and it just goes straight to the fountain. It places you slightly closer to the Ancient, meaning it's closer to the mouth of the fountain. Because it put you in kind of weird spots. It's really nice. Town Portal Scrolls teleport and other similar ability effects now partially follow the channeling unit, even if they move after starting their teleport. Oh, I get it. So, if you get some sort of forced movement, but not something that would stop the TP, it will, like you're channeling and something moves you slightly, but it's not enough to cancel. Like an ally force statue, which I believe doesn't cancel, it'll follow you now, which is more of a UI thing. Alright. Items, only 3 changes, and one of them is terrible. Dagon. The recipe cost went down by 50. That means that the cost went down 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. So Dagon 5 is 250 gold cheaper. So coming to a game near you, Dagon. Mage Slayer's damage bonus, that's that flat damage you get for holding it, just regular stat, went down by 3. It's a pretty big nerf, probably needed, to be honest. Mage Slayer's pretty strong. Smoke of Deceit now gives a chat message to your team when you use it. So it's just like, Smoke of Deceit is used, I haven't seen it, but some form of like that. To let people know you're doing something, even if you don't effectively communicate that to your team. These are all neutral item changes, quite a few of them. Flare's Boa, which is the base damage and attack speed buff. The range, which is, it refreshes the cooldown of the active every time a unit dies. It was in 1200 range, now it's 15. Meaning it more likely will refresh the cooldown, which is nice. The evasion on the active of Idol of Skriak went up by 10%, which is actually a lot. That's a really big buff to this item. I actually might use it. I've never used it. I might use it with an extra 10% of evasion. That's actually really does make it desirable. Prophet's Pendulum, the lingering delayed damage is now non-lethal if the incoming damage source was also non-lethal. So rarely would this ever come up. There's a couple abilities in the game that actually can't kill you. They lower you to 1. So if you get one of those on you, it doesn't turn non-lethal damage into lethal. I guess it did, so that was just like a bug. So they fixed it. Dazun Bloodright's AoE, the AoE in your spell AoE, went up by 4%, which is really nice actually, because for a lot of people it's a very big change. Fallen Sky's building impact damage increased by 35. So that means that first boom is a bigger building damage hit, so it's even better for just pushing. Harmonizer. The balance mana cost reduction per ability up cooldown increased by 5 to 7. So it gains a percentage spell mana cost reduction for every ability off cooldown. That's the part. So it's just a bigger mana cost reduction. Nice. Rift Shadow Prism's illusion outgoing damage increased from 50 to 60, making it actually a little bit more helpful, because that means that the illusion that's created is more likely to do a lot of damage. For some carries, that's very big. Skitter, the cooldown was decreased by 5 seconds, making it up more often, but the duration of Skitter went down by 2 seconds. That still nets it as the uptime being higher, because before the downtime was 6 seconds. Now the downtime is 3. So that's better, right? However, in a straight path, you're more likely to be caught briefly. It's probably still a buff, but it has like a certain interaction. Witchblade's cleanse cast range was increased by 200. And the mana cost went down by 100, making it more likely you can actually use it. So more heroes can actually get it because they can afford to use it. These are just the enchantments. The night vision bonus got decreased, so it's less. Attack range bonus decreased also, so that 100 is now 80 because it's 0 all the way. It's a tier 4. Spell amp was also decreased. Titanic's attack speed penalty was decreased, so if you get Titanic, you don't lose as much attack speed. It went from 10, 12, 14 to just 9, which is substantially more reasonable. The health regen bonus went up by 0.25. I never take this. I think that usually the health, flat health is better. But this does make it more desirable. Depends on the hero. So I think that overall, before I even get to heroes changes, biggest thing, these are just minor. Mind you. Dig and Cheat, Mage Slayer nerf. Minor. Rift Shadow might be good now. Minor. Witchblade way better. Then just some nerf to some of the fat enchantments, because they all got nerfs, except this one. They're basically all nerfs. Titanic, I guess, is kind of above. It's whatever, though. It's minor. Abaddon got 5 attack speed. Actually really nice for him. His Withering Mist, which is his innate, by the way. The heal reduction was increased from 24.5 plus 0.5 per level to starting with 5% higher. That's the change. It's 29.5, same ad. So 5%. So what's the percentage there? Infected enemies have their health restoration reduced if they're at a certain threshold of health. So now it's just 5% bigger nerf on that, like meaning it's a bigger debuff. So it's nice. AA. Damage per second on Cold Feet went up by 5 at all levels. That's whatever. Chilling Touch's cooldown went down. Pretty notably, actually. 2 just to 0.5 at the end. That still matters. And the damage went up by 5 at all levels. So AA just doing more damage. Anti-Mage, I love this change, by the way. Base agility went up by 1. That's obviously matters because it's 1/6 of that armor, 1 attack speed, 1 damage, you know. And Blink went down by 5 mana cost went down by 5 mana at all levels. So the Blink is minor. I don't really care what the mana cost so much. It matters, but not too much. The agility is way bigger. It's just better to try to last it. Arc Warden, Flux. Cast range increased. That's disgusting, and I hate it. 25 at 125 at level 1. Down only 50 at the last level. And the movement speed slow was also increased. It's the same at the end, but it's a lot earlier. So that's gross. Axe loss, 0.5. Sense of Foreboding. What's Sense of Foreboding? Does Axe have a passive? No.
Axe feels punchy.
I don't know what Sense of Foreboding is.
Eat first.
What? Someone's got to explain that to me. I have no idea. What Sense of Foreboding is. Okay. Apparently it's a joke they sometimes put in the patch where it actually doesn't matter. It's fake. It's nothing. So the real answer is Axe lost 0.5 health regen. That's all that matters. He probably needed it. He needed the nerf. I just played him, but he probably needed the nerf. They nerfed Battle Hunger's cast range a lot at the beginning, but still a little bit at the end too. That's hard for Axe. He honestly struggles with his cast range. Blood Rage no longer procs Magic Stick or its upgrades, which is actually a huge buff since it's like a self buff and it procs too much because you cast it all the time. So good. Probably better. Rupture, Ag Scepter's health damage increased from 13 to 15. So when he gets Aghanims, it does health damage just immediately when it gets cast. Like it already does health damage. It's 10, right there. And it was 13, I guess, when you get Ags. Now it's 15 when you get Ags. So it's a bigger, giant tick. Bounty Hunter gets another 5% gold by killing big heroes. Annoying. Aghanim Shard's max HP regen per second increased by 2.5 to 3. I mean, that's a buff. Slow duration went up as it levels in Thunderclap. That's a big buff. And some talent nerfs. But these are really good too. I'm not sure if it makes them better or worse because these are rough talents. Spiderlings gain 25 HP, making them even harder to kill, and Foray is going to lose his mind when Broodmother comes mid every game because now the Spiderlings are impossible to kill. Phantasm's damage, which has been severely nerfed early game, fixed the early game a bit. Now instead of 50-75, it's 60-80, but you know, the end is 100 anyway. Death Pact costs less, which is good for Klinks because he suffers from mana problems. Power Cogs. Mana cost increased to its max. Pushback and damage now apply against heroes with no mana, so even if you have no mana, you still get pushed back and you still get hurt. Damage was rescaled to be a little more early but less late. That's pretty nerf. That's a nerf though. And they nerfed his talent. So, honestly, probably a nerf overall. This is rarely the case where it would matter, this middle one, so it's honestly just a nerf. Base health regen increased by 0.5, so Darkseer got the health that Axe lost. I don't know if Darkseer needed it, but whatever. I never see him anyway. Base int on Dark Low went up by 1. Minor, but yeah, certainly is a thing. Cast range on Cursed Crown went up to above its maximum. It was probably too low of cast range. I think that's probably good. It's a weak ability as a whole, I think, so it's probably better that it gets a buff. Starbreaker costs 10 more mana. Whatever. Poison Touch. Bonus slow per hit increased by 0.5 at all levels. So it's more of a slow when you get hit. That's rough. Dazzle's going to run you down, though. Disruptor got 5 movement speed. I've been playing him recently. Let's go. And the mana cost on Thunderstrike went down. By 10. Let's go. He has mana problems, too. Sucks when I'm against him, though. Doom gained 0.2 int gain, which is nice because it's very hard to cast his abilities. And they hurt Devour. Aghanim Shard bonus AoE decreased.
My flame burns brighter.
He gets an extra AoE on abilities he steals from creeps. But the AoE bonus went down by 5 because it was too much. Fair. Dragon's Tail's AoE increased by 25. There's an AoE. I forgot there was an AoE, to be honest with you, because it's so small. So it's slightly more likely for a Dragonite to stun multiple enemies because the AoE. It's actually... It's still tiny, but it's twice as big. Okay. I didn't know this, but Earth Spirit gets passive damage for unused Stone Remnant. The passive went up by 0.5%. So that's going to be a buff to Earth Spirit, even though he's been winning all the games I see him in. Earthshaker got base mana regen increased. He needed it. Natural Order's radius increased by 25. That's the armor reduction, base resist reduction. That's very strong for Elder Titan. That's a huge buff. And now Earth Splitter's slow is more at early levels, which is whatever. Ember's bonus hero damage decreased. Another nerf to Slight, by the way. 10 at all levels. Good. Enigma, the cooldown of demonic summoning went up at early levels, down at later. I mean, it's probably a nerf, because early levels are only when it matters. Faceless Void's Ags, which gives him time walk radius on the impact of his time walk, decreased, meaning it's harder for it to hit everybody when you jump in. And time dilation's radius went down by 75 too, so it's less likely to hit everybody. So nerf to Void. Dark Portrait's magic resistance was decreased by 5%. So when he uses Dark Portrait, that Illusion is a debuff immune and has 90% magic resistance. It used to have 95, so it's a nerf. Jawcrafter got 200 night vision. That's actually a really interesting buff. Oh, it's because Flat Cannon gave night vision anyway. He just has it always. That's why. The missiles slow more on cooldown by 10. Minor. Side Gunner no longer attacks 2 units at a time while Flat Cannon's active, so it just always attacks its singular unit. It's a nerf. Yeah, pretty, you know, buff, it's just a change. Buff, big nerf. It's mostly buffs. Hoodwink. Cooldown increase on Acorn Shot at early levels, hurting her lane. Good. Scurry. The bow's movement speed went down at early levels, but better late. No, sorry, sorry, nerfed at all levels. I'm sorry, I misread it, so it's nerf. 5 at all levels. Good. Huskar, burn damage went down to Burning Spear. Yep. It went down by 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's every tick, by the way, and you're usually hit with multiple spears. So you're like, okay, well, 4 damage per second is nothing. You have 10 spears on you. That's 40, 40, 40, 40. That's a tremendous amount. You'll probably die with 10 spears anyway, but conceptually, a big difference. Huge nerf, huge nerf. Although, granted, Huskar, yeah, the health mana cost did not change. Sorry, the max health cost did not change. So it's just the damage she deals. It has nothing to do with the fact that, like, he just does less damage. Nothing else changes. Ghostwalk has 8-second longer cooldown, making it harder for Invoker to get away. Contact damage of Chaos Meteor went down at later levels. It's the same at the beginning. It's a better progression, too, so technically it's a little less as you progress, but, you know, reaching its peak at the end. It's 20, it's whatever. Ice Wall's movement slow is higher earlier, but worse late. Jakiro, base int went up by 1. It's cool, I've been playing Jakiro too. They buffed this 25 talent, it's nice. Whatever. Ooh, Blade Fury went down in mana cost. Jug can actually cast in lane. What? Okay, Kez. The Katana's bonus agility base damage decreased by 4%. That's a really big nerf to Katana. The Kazurai Katana, which is the active when you stab them. The cooldown was increased 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds. Shodasai, which is the block, the cooldown increased by 4, 3, 2, 1 to match. And the parry duration decreased by 0.5, making it harder to parry. Okay, I see what they did here. Because they nerfed this over here, right? They changed his level 10 talent to be 6% switch discipline swap bonus. So Katana swap bonus damage from 12 to 18. So it's actually more now when you get this talent. And the Sai swap movement speed from 12 to 18. Now what's the comparative? Raptor dance radius? It's probably much better to take that now. This is really good. It'll make you stronger, actually. Largo. Bonus duration, which is buffs that he gives last longer. Increased from 10 plus 1 to 15 plus 1. So he gets a 4% extra right off the bat. That's a big deal, actually. Extra 4% effectiveness on buffs. That matters. His songs cost more mana at all levels. Fair. Legion's Duel starts more expensive in mana and scales even more than that. That's a nerf to Legion. Leshrak's Pulse Nova, the mana per second decreased, so it costs less at all levels by 5. Still, Nihilism slows an extra 10%. Good buffs to Lesh. I haven't seen him recently. This is a big patch. I'm glad I took time to do this. I probably won't play after this based on timing. The mana cost of Dragon Slave went down by 10 at all levels. Lion's damage per kill on Finger of Death went down by 5. This means carry Lion is way worse, since he's going to have multiple stacks. So he's 10 stacks, that's 50 less damage on Finger of Death. And also the right-click damage, because that would matter. That too. Minor talent. Base health regen decreased on Spirit Bear by 1.5, thank God. Marcy. The cooldown of Special Delivery went down. The base amount went down by 30 whole seconds. This just means that at the start of the game, at all levels of the game, it's going to come off cooldown like later, right? Because if it's 5 seconds per level, if you get to level 30, 30 times 5 is 150. So there's still going to be a cooldown, or if I did my math right. So it'll be a 65-second cooldown, so it's not like it's not going to be a long cooldown, it will. But at least it's not as long at any given stage in the game. Don't care about that. Dauntless, which is the aura in which he gets the bonus because people are near him, the radius went up again, so it's even more likely to trigger. God's Rebuke now turns Mars in the cast direction when cast with Bulwark toggled on. So you can't cast it without, like, weirdly with Bulwark. Spear damage from the arena when you touch the edges went up at later levels. It's 0, 10, 20. I mean, that's minor. Celestial Quiver. That's her, one of her base abilities.
Your priestess
Shard.
has arrived.
Yeah. So max charge is increased from 2 plus 1 per level, per 7 levels, sorry, to 2 plus 1 per 6 levels. So she can have more max charges is the point. Like, she'll get more earlier. The second meteor damage of Starstorm, it's the one that hits after the rest of the Starstorm, went up by 10%. So buffs. More Fling. Base strength reduced by 7. Base agility reduced by 7. I don't know what's about to change, but that is a crazy good change. Ebb and Flow. Agility to attack range. It's passive. Increased by 5%, so his agility affects it more. Strength cast range also increased by 5%. Strength to slow resistance also increased by 5%. The only thing they didn't change was the agility to movement speed. They didn't touch that. Aghanim Scepter Illusion incoming damage decreased from 300 to 200. What's this Aghanim?
Raging waters.
Okay. So the illusion he creates with his Aghanims, which is a copy of a hero, takes 100% less damage. So, how do I feel about this? I'm not sure how this is going to play out, because losing 7 for the sake of farming, that's really bad. Like, he lost a lot, right? Oh, sorry, no, he lost strength, he gained agility. I misread agility. I knew I misread something. So he lost... Does it really matter then? Because, like, inevitably that just means his overall... It's a buff. It's a buff. Here's why. Now, most of the time, Morphling is just going to morph what he wants anyway. So if he has enough of either, he'll just change them to fit. Here's the problem. Since he didn't lose stats, it doesn't matter, because he'll just fix them. But worse. Agility is better, most of the time, right? He would rather have less strength and more agility for most of the things he does, usually. So that means that his agility being higher, because it increases damage by 9, which... Oh, it's not by 7. That's why, because I didn't go negative. It was negative at 7. If it was 20, whatever, 13 or something. Whatever the number was. Whatever I thought it was. So he does lose 7 here, but he actually gained more. He gained 9. I don't know why my math was all messed up. That's really the answer. It was all kinds of messed up. So lost 7, but gained 9. So he actually netted +2, which is why his damage went up by 9, because this is 9. So he gained 2, so that's a buff, especially since it's agility in particular. Since oftentimes when he has enough stats, he'll dump his strength. for initiation and such. So now Morphling has more agility. On top of that, his attack range will go up tremendously by 5% of his agility. So if he has 100 agility, an extra 5 attack range, which is minor, but still. He's going to end up with more than that, too. He's actually going to have more like 200 plus. So he's going to have an extra 10 to 15 attack range, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it kind of does matter, right? In the strength, when he does go strength, he just has better cast range and slow resistance, making it even harder to kill him when he just starts pumping strength. So, you know, Morphling got buffed to crap. I would say it. Buffed to shit. That's really what it is. Treants that are alive now always contribute to the bonus damage for Nature's Prophet, even if they're out of range. That means if you make Treants, and they just go away, and they're elsewhere, Nature's Prophet still gets bonus damage for their existence. Some small nerfs on Talons. Ogre gained 1 base strength. Gross. He's so tanky now. I'll need 2 base int. He needed it, honestly. OD. Minimum base damage increased by 4. Max base damage increased by 1. So they just tried to switch the... It's a buff, but they're trying to change. Yeah, so the damage spread changed from a 9 spread, a 12 to a 9. So it's actually more reliable. But it's also better. Because it's higher. It's always higher. That's a huge buff to his lane. Pango. Base agility decreased by 1. Base armor decreased by 1. I mean, he's already not playable. It's a joke now. He's already not playable. They're just ruining him. They are absolutely trashing him. I must look at DotA buff. I guarantee his win rate is still like 42%. And with this patch, it's going to drop again. His win rate is 46.72, which is pretty freaking bad. And despite that, they're nerfing him again. Now, I'm sure the meta probably speaks differently of him. Let's see. No, he's bad at every bracket. His highest win rate is 47.24 at Archon. Every other percentage is similarly not great. They're all 46-ish. So they're taking a hero who's like 46-ish. And I don't know about pro games, but like Immortal games, he's doing poorly. And they nerf the crap out of him. Phoenix. Attack speed slow decreased at earlier levels, so it doesn't hurt your attack speed as much at the beginning. His max health sunray damage also decreased by 0.25, which is a big nerf to his talent. Puck lost 0.2 agility gain, that's needed. Pudge gained 2 base agility, which helps his armor, but also his attack speed, so that's cool. Pudge is going to be dominating mid all over again. 1/3 of an armor, does 2, which is 2/6, but 1/3, you know. Pug to gain base mana regen increase by 0.25, which he definitely didn't need. In the cast range, another word went up, meaning it's easier to cast it somewhere that you want to put it. Razor gained 10 at base attack speed. That's pretty nice. When Ricky backstabs an ally, which includes creeps, he does 5% extra damage that he didn't do before. Smoke Screen's cooldown was rescaled to be better earlier, but worse late. That's a nerf. Blink Strike's bonus damage rescaled to be better early, worse late. Also a nerf. Funhouse Mirror, the proportion distortion, which is the active, the illusion damage increased by, oh my god, 72%. It's a full damage illusion that lasts 18 seconds. Now, I know it's Ringmaster, so he's not going to do a ton of right-click damage, but still... crazy. Fade Bolt's damage went down at early levels, thank goodness. And it lasts 1 second less on the debuff. Big nerf, honestly. Sand King gained 0.2 strength gain, which is damage and health and such, which is annoying because he's strong. Shadow Poison is 5 cheaper, easier to spam in lane. And damage per additional stack over 5 stacks was increased from 50 to 60 because it's a flat amount. when you first gain stats, in case anybody didn't know this, when you first get a stack, it's like, oh, you know, the stack damage at level 1, for example, is 24. Which I'll give level. It depends what level you are. Let's say 24. So it hits you for 24, and it puts 24 delayed. Then you hit again. Instead, what it does is it hits you for 24, and it puts another 24 delayed, right? Yeah, and it also does. So those delayed damages will get multiplied by the end. It says the poison deals 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 times the stack damage based on the number of stacks on the target, up to 5. Additional stacks just cause an extra amount of damage. So that means that those delayed stacks, they don't do like an extra stack damage. There's just an extra on top, and now instead of 50, what it used to be, it's 60. Just more damage from shadow poison. Serpent wards are worth less. They're worth less gold, 2 to 4, which is pretty rough. Urnaconda costs more too, also rough for him. It's a buff to have the Mass Serpent Ward thing, but this is a nerf. Scath Mage gained 1 strength, because, like, why not? Why not just make him tankier? I mean, really. They nerf Corrosive Haze on Slardar. It does less armor shred. Saltwater Shiv's cooldown was decreased on Slark at all levels, which is very nice, because he really needs this. It lasted just a little bit too less, like, of time. It needs to last longer for him to really get the benefit. Boomstick, which is more damage to nearby enemies, no longer applies on denies or buildings, making Snapfire substantially worse in lane, because denies aren't as easy, can't rush down buildings as easily. The Shard heal on Cookie went down too. Lots of nerfs. It's really good. Keen Scope, which is giving damage based on how far away it is, no longer applies on denies or buildings. I didn't even know it did apply on buildings, but that's annoying. It's that bonus damage, 1.55%. That's a nerf. Spectre gained 1 base strength, but lost 1 base agility. It's probably not a big deal. Spectre needs to be tanky, so it's like, eh? Spectral Dagger's slow, got nerfed at the late game. Sorry, buffed early, nerfed late. Shadow Step's illusion damage takes more damage. Sorry, it takes between its last 3rd and 4th percentage of damage always. The cast range was rescaled to be between the 2nd and 3rd level, so it's nerfed. Haunt's mana cost went up at late levels. And the fear does last longer, though. But for the most part, these are nerfs. Spiritbearer's charge is cheaper at all levels. And Aghanim Scepter's creep damage decreased by 5%. That's the fact that when you get an Ags, I believe when you...
Charge!
Yeah, if a knockback enemy collides with another enemy, the second enemy gets bashed too. Creeps only receive a percentage of the damage, making it less likely for you just to farm your way through things. They nerfed it. Storm lost 5 attack speed, and Prey's not going to be happy. Sven's stun got buffed at late levels of stun. And the slow resistance on Godstrike went up by 10%, so it's harder for you to slow him when he's ulting. The disarm on techies got nerfed at all levels. By a lot, actually. It's almost 0.3 at all levels. The Mind's debuff, which makes you take more damage from more magical things, went down by 1 second, so it lasts less likely you get that debuff repeatedly. Inner Peace. When TA's stationary and not taking damage, she begins meditating, getting health and mana regen. Time until meditation starts was decreased by 0.05 seconds, so it kicks in faster. And the meditation time until max bonus, meaning how long it takes until it's giving you the max over per second, was decreased from by 0.2, right? By 0.2 seconds, and then the same, per level thing. So that's nice. Base attack speed decreased on Timbersaw. A lot of people lost attack speed. The stat loss duration also went down at all levels. The move slow and flamethrower did go up, though. Still, that's a really big nerf. Lots of nerfs here. Tiny. Strength to slow resist decreased from 20 to 15, so he's less likely to be so resistant to slows. People come back from toss faster. You're not in the air as long by 0.15 seconds. It might sound minor, but it does matter. Tree grab's cooldown went up at all levels. Tree throws cast range was decreased. You need to be closer to throw it. It used to be 1200 to throw it. Now you have to be 1000, so you have to be closer. Shards. Okay, I gotta see this. I don't know what Tiny Shard does. Grow. Units tossed by toss or trees tossed by tree throw or tree volley now deal additional damage and slow in a larger area of effect at their landing location. So, the movement slow increased, so it's a bigger slow. And it also is a longer slow. It's nice. 10% bigger slow and another 0.5 seconds on it. It's the only buff you really got here. Everything else sucks. Troll. When he ults, his movement speed is always its maximum. Like 35%, the last level 18. Undying got base mana regen increase, which is so disgusting because he never runs out. Venge got a base health regen increase, which is going to help a carry Venge stay alive. And stun does more damage at early levels, which is minor. It's probably more important for a support, though. Venno got int gain increase, barely. Visage attack speed drain is better early, worse late. Sucks. Upheaval's cooldown decreased at early levels. Nice. So if Weaver's near you after attacking you, he establishes a thread which briefly slows you and ties Weaver and the enemy together. And bonus damage for Weaver. The slow duration increased. It's twice as much as it was, 0.2 to 0.4. Don't care. Base damage increased on Wraith King, making him a bigger carry. His lifesteal was rescaled to start 6% higher, but scale 0.5 less per level. So 6 to 0.5, how many levels would that take to equal out? 12? So at level 12, you will be the same on lifesteal. Before that's a buff, and then after that's a nerf. So it's a nerf. Put buff on the damage. The Aghanim Scepter cooldown on his ult.
Where I tread, a kingdom of bone follows.
It's longer at all levels by 5, which is a nerf to him. And they nerfed his Vampiric Spirit Love Still talent, too. So let's talk about who actually changed a lot. We've been doing this for 38 minutes. I'll take another 2 just to summarize. Nothing really matters here. Dagon is annoying. Big change. Some of these changed, but I wouldn't say any of them are that impactful. I think the big winner is Witchbane, maybe Rift Shadow, and Dazoon. Abaddon, I think, is actually, with this change to the heal reduction stuff, he's a bigger counter pick, but I don't think we'll see him anyway. Arc Warden is more annoying. Broodmother is going to dominate mid if she wants to. Dazzle's better at running you down, which might matter in any given lane. I was looking. And who actually changed? Big nerf to Huskar's damage. Big buff to Leshrac. I'll say it. I think that's helpful. Nerf to carry Lion. Thank God. I'd say that's a pretty good big buff to Mirana too, actually. Huge buff to Morphling. Gigantic buff to Morphling. I might start playing him. Actually, that is enough for me to potentially start playing him. OD mid is going to be coming back more. The damage is going to help him just secure enough last hits. That's all he needs. He just needs to do better at last hits. Pango is absolutely 100% unplayable. He was already on the basic precipice of being unplayable. He is definitely unplayable now. Pango is also universal, by the way. So the change of agility did lose him with damage as well. Not only did it lost him a damage, so he does 1 less damage, 1 less attack speed, 1/6 of an armor, and 1 armor. So 1 and 1/6 armor is what he lost. Like, it's everything. They just keep nerfing him. Pudge, really surprisingly silly buff, but it's a real buff. They ruined Snap, I think. She'll be playable, but I think they ruined like what she did, which is good. Despite that being the case, it's good. Sven got a big buff. He might be coming back. It's the slow resistance more than anything else, but it's nice to have a stun too. Tiny got pretty heavily nerfed. They hurt him a lot. That was a big hurt. And everything else is pretty minor, I think. Everything's gonna have trouble surviving. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna really play out. It's not a crazy patch. It's not like gigantic, right? It's big enough to like really need its own patch review because it took me 40 minutes. But I think that overall, it'll be exciting to see how things turn out. So what was my thing for today? 2 wins, 1 loss, 2-1. Hey, good. That's nice. I like that. No thanks. No soliciting. So, because it's getting later, I could technically play another game of Dota, but I'm probably not gonna. I really pushed myself as far as just my life as a whole, like when. Why is this one super special? I pushed myself a little hard, and you know, I got a lot of stuff I got to do tomorrow at work, so I'm a little sweating it, just a little bit. It did accomplish a lot. Don't get me wrong. It accomplished a lot outside of this as well as this, but it'll help me to like relax. So I appreciate you guys for watching. I will see you all next time.